Hello! For those just watching this module, we are working through the Form PI1 General Application, or PI1 for short, going sheet by sheet. We are using a minor NSR amendment as the example. In this module, I'll be showing you the monitoring sheet. The monitoring sheet provides the minimum monitoring requirements for all new, modified, and consolidated fins. While it is outside the scope of this amendment example, I'll mention that renewed sources will also be listed here. Check out the renewal module to see more about that. Listing the minimum monitoring requirements helps us to ensure that all projects are applying monitoring consistent with rule requirements to demonstrate compliance. In addition, since many of these requirements will be listed in the draft permit, including it in the workbook allows upfront review instead of waiting for the draft permit stage. This sheet format, as you can see, is very similar to the BACT sheet. You will notice that all of the fins that were marked as new, modified, and consolidated on the unit type emission rate sheet are listed on this sheet, and the pollutant list for each is transferred from that sheet as well. The minimum monitoring is populated for each fin. The first step is to expand the row height so you can see all of the information. The easiest way to do that is to select all of the rows and to double-click on the line between two of those rows. It'll auto-fit to show the full text. For each entry, read the listed requirement and then confirm agreement. The additional notes column is generally optional, but will turn red when additional details are needed, such as in these locations. In some cases, we have listed multiple monitoring options and the applicant needs to indicate which one they'll be using. Another scenario where additional notes are required is if the applicant does not confirm agreement with the listed minimum monitoring. For example, here. The selection turns red and the applicant needs to propose an alternative method. Down here we see our paint booth. You can see that the unit type listed here is exactly what I typed it on the unit type's emission rate sheet, which is why it's important to clearly define the unit type when selecting other on the unit types and emission rate sheet. Since this was not a standard unit type for a combustion site, the minimum monitoring has not been populated here, and the applicant must propose the method. PM, PM10, and PM2.5, like on the BACT, are combined into one requirement. The monitoring sheet has also been updated to address the measurement of emissions for pollutants with the project increase above the PSD significant emission rates. This is a Chapter 116 requirement. To demonstrate this, I'm going to return back to our general sheet to indicate that this is a PSD project. So here, under PSD permit type, I'm going to select an initial action type. Back on the monitoring sheet, we can see that these columns have become visible. They are no longer grayed out. If the pollutant is below the PSD threshold, then you can leave it blank. If the pollutant is above the threshold, then for each unit type, you will identify how emissions will be measured. We've made it easy by having a drop-down with some of the common techniques. You can also select Other and then type in your own. For example, if the project increase is above the CO PSD threshold, the applicant will need to list the measurement method for each new, modified, and consolidated EPN with CO emissions.